From Julio Cruz and Gaylord Perry to Alvin Davis and Harold Reynolds to father and son back to back bombs. From Junior J, Joey, and Edgar with Randy, A-Rod, Dan, and the Sheriff to Ichiro Moyer and Mikey C to King Felix, Kyle Cruz, and Cano to the present with Julio, Gilbert, Kirby, and Cal. I don't believe it. It just continues. My, oh my, it's another sports podcast. My, oh my, it's another sports podcast. And my, oh my, our Mariners have been at home not playing ball for nearly a month now. The New York Yankees, the evil empire, is in the World Series. We got the Mets and Dodgers in a dogfight trying to rep the NL for that crown. NFL is in full swing. College football has gone crazy. We just got to give a huge my oh my shout out to my man Indy, who's not in Nashville today. He's been down in the ATL watching our Seahawks take it to Atlanta at Mercedes-Benz Stadium. Huge shout out to Vaden Podcast Services. Vaden Podcast Services, they make this show come to life. Got to give a giant shout out to all the homies in the live chat, the fire, the knowledge, the jokes, and some of our football teams that come up huge. What's up, Mariners Lifer? Some of them have come up short. It is of great sadness for me. My main man RG is on the road again this week. Maybe at the live chat, we will let you guys know. We might have to try to be a little bit more flexible on days and times. So my main man, indie super producer, we've picked him up off the bench. He's coming in pinch hitting. He's going to be swinging like Edgar Martinez out here. Indy, my main man, where are you right now and what's going on, dude?
I am currently on the road in Atlanta, Georgia. We my fiance and I got to witness that beatdown today in the Mercedes-Benz Dome live and in person, and it was awesome. That stadium is incredible. I can't lie, it's incredible.
Talk to me, like, is like about the stadium first. How nice? What's the atmosphere like, etc.?
Man, it was good vibes all around. Everybody we ran into was having a good time, enjoying the extremely low price concessions, not having to take out a second mortgage to just to, have a few drinks and a hot dog. I mean, we got multiple meals, multiple drinks, spent $50. That's it.
Oh, nice, nice.
It was awesome. The retractable roof, man, it was incredible. The way that like, you'd have to see pictures and videos of it for to be properly understood, but dude, it lets in a lot of light and it's a lot bigger of an opening than it looks from the outside. Like it
Oh,
is
cool.
massive. The entire field is exposed for sure.
Oh,
It's massive.
I didn't even know that was a thing, dude. I didn't.
Yeah, I mean, I think I did, but it wasn't something that I like really thought about a whole lot. But
Okay.
dude, that screen in there too, the 360 screen, but like most screens I've seen like that are like 360 on the outside. This one's like an inward 360, and it is there was like a guy up on the catwalk above it, so you could really see the scale of screen to person, and it is massive. And it's terrifying that something that big is just suspended above, you know,
Hmm.
$250 million players. It's crazy. It's a
Okay,
majestic
man.
piece of man-made art, in my opinion.
An architectural wonder, we'll call it that.
Absolutely.
Okay. Well, here's one thing I want to ask you then, because when you go to a football game, you see things in a different lens than you do watching from home. You might miss a couple things, but you always gain a different perspective. Tell me whatever you thought about the Seahawks or the Falcons for that matter actually being there in person today down at the ATL.
Um, I've seen a lot of people saying that like the Seahawks, sorry, have like an emotional like control issue. Like they're not capable of when shit hits the fan. Like DK has his moments where he's pouting on the sideline. Where we saw Gino last week banging his head on the tablet during our super spoiled years during the Pete Carroll era. We didn't see a whole lot of you know quarterbacks banging their heads on tablets, and it was more of a positive reassurance, almost to the point where it was made you sick to your stomach. But what I saw down there were a bunch of guys that loved each other and wanted to play for each other and were picking each other up every time they were down. If they made a little play, they were slapping each other on the back saying, "We got it next time." Like it wasn't there was no disarray. That team was there and it knows who its leaders are. And I think today they stepped up and played a mistake-free game led by Gino, who everybody had been bashing on the last couple weeks, including myself. There's nothing I like seeing more than defensive dominance and mistake-free offensive football. And that's what we
Mm-hmm.
got today.
Mm-hmm.
It was completely
No,
opposite of the last 3 weeks. Sorry, didn't mean to cut you off.
mhm. No, it's all good. It's all good. It's a lot easier to play when you're not having a giant uphill battle the entire game. You can stick to your game plan for the entire 60 minutes. So I think that's a huge factor because against the Giants, they got out to actually, we had the first touchdown, but they got out to a giant lead and we had to pass, pass, pass. San Francisco, they got out to a giant lead. We had to pass, pass, pass. Ken Walker's stats might not be gaudy, but happy birthday to that young stud with 2 touchdowns, bro. And you know, it doesn't take Walter Jones or Steve Hutchinson to notice that right tackle has been an extreme issue. Right guard has been an extreme issue for the Seahawks this season. Michael Jarrell, the late round pick, he's considered a project D2 school. If y'all want some really funny football highlights, look up Michael Jarrell on YouTube because he pancakes the living hell out of these little D2 guys. But from my amateur eye, he looked really, really solid. And for a project player, he just looks the part. Stone Forsythe is maybe too tall. There's some guys 6'9" or so that succeed in the NFL Indy, but it's usually few and far between because they just don't have enough natural leverage on the situation. But talk to me, man. I know you've been extremely disappointed with the right side of our offensive line, and I think Jarrell acquitted himself to the point where even when Stone's right, Jarrell needs to play until further notice.
Yeah, I agree 100%. It's Jarrell until Abe's back.
I mean, just from the eye test, he sure looks the part. You see that dude walk out there, he just looks like an NFL offensive tackle. So I totally see why, because I don't think the Seahawks planned on drafting 3 offensive linemen this year. Although I think you can never go wrong. I always say this: you can never draft enough offensive linemen. Indy, it makes me a little bit crazy when so many fans are like, just draft a random quarterback. Just draft. No, don't draft a random quarterback. The odds of a random offensive lineman becoming a serviceable NFL player is way harder than finding a mid to late round quarterback. Go to Wikipedia and look at every single late round draft pick quarterback. I'm sorry, man. It almost never happens. Purdy and Brady, and you can find a list of guys you don't remember at all on that list. But I am hyped, man. I am hyped. Tommy, O line is the hardest position because not only do you have to win your individual battle, you have to work as a unit to make this thing go. And to top it off, man, these defensive freak shows, Indy, these defensive players are such unbelievable athletes nowadays, man. It blows my mind.
Oh yeah, and what blows my mind is Falcons fans are blessed enough to have a guy like AJ Terrell on their secondary, and those fans were tearing his ass up today. And it's like,
Mm.
I mean, I get it. I get being frustrated with a player that was, he got beat a few times, but That guy's a Pro Bowl, potentially all pro level player, it blows my mind. I would love to have him over here. I kept telling him, I was like, we'll take him. We'll take him over
Mm.
here. We we have two rookies starting in our secondary. We'll take them all day. And those rookies, I felt like they held their part. I mean, Pritchett definitely reacted a little slow on that touchdown to London on the fourth down,
Mm.
but that's Drake London. I'm not gonna and Kirk Cousins. I'm not going to fault him too much for that.
Mm.
That's a rookie moment.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it's gonna happen. You have your fourth, fifth, sixth string cornerbacks in there. They're gonna get toasted a little bit by a dude like Drake London on a little option route like that. You're caught leaning a little bit too far inside and you get embarrassed. It happens that fast. I think you're right though, man. I was absolutely pumped. I was jacked about the play of the DBs in general because I was very nervous. Rayshon Jenkins out, Tariq Woolen out. Trey Brown might have gotten torched against San Francisco, but he has had a pretty damn good career so far. You can normally count on him to play at more solid football. And so, with all those injuries, I honestly thought they might be able to kind of pass at will on us. And we played a good game against Kirk Cousins. The run defense, still worrisome. Byron Murphy, God, he's one of those guys that just jumps out on the screen, though, bro. He might have only had like one tackle in the game that I recall, but that dude's always busting up the line, and that's that shit you need. We need guys that can just kind of blow the play up. And then we've talked about it off mic, Indy, but get at it for our homies on the live chat because it looks like it's a Seahawks kind of night right now. But, bro, those two second round edge rushers, Hall and Mafe, look freaking awesome, and they put it together for one of the best defensive highlights on the season. Gotta love those dudes.
Pause for a second and let's talk about the guy that we just traded for coming in and having 5 tackles from the Jaguars, Robertson Harris.
Good call.
Man, did he play his ass off. He constantly jumped off like I constantly saw just maximum effort. Like even my girlfriend was like, "Wait, who's that guy? I've never seen him before." And I was like, or my fiance, sorry, was like, "Who is that guy? I've never seen him before." And I was like, "Yeah, he's brand new, and I'm glad he's on our team because he's wreaking havoc." That is going to be one of those under the radar acquisitions that I think really plays a big role in the
Mm.
development of people like Byron Murphy and Cam Young. Those guys, I think we're building something special, and obviously we're gonna have to be patient. It's a new regime, a bunch of rookie coaches in a lot of different positions across the staff, and we all had high expectations with the 3-0 start, and then we got slammed in the face with the 0-3 skid, and now we're back on cloud nine again. We just need to remember that it's a long season, and that we got a whole bunch of young guys in position to really take this place to a great like situation in the near future, but we can't turn on guys like Gino so quick. I gotta I gotta take responsibility for that one because I definitely might have turned on him a little quick last week.
Well, I mean, we got to be fair though. Gino had a bad game against San Francisco, but in fairness to Gino, I don't know if I could say a single dude on the team had a good game necessarily. So sometimes you just got to kind of chalk it up. We got our asses kicked. Dust yourself off, move on, and get ready for the next week. That's exactly what they did. They did have 3 games in 11 days. So we got the mini Thursday night bye, so to speak, coming in to this game at Atlanta, and I was pumped, man. I really was. Bijan Robinson. Oh boy, I'm glad that we got that lead, man, because if they had enough possessions and were close enough in the ball game. It looked like he was going to get 8 yards every time he touched the ball. Worries the shit out of me. But I think that one of the key pieces missing, and this is why we have a fourth round rookie linebacker and then just two veterans on 1 year deals, Andy, is I feel that they're looking for their next stud linebacker because I feel like that's the one piece that's missing from this, from getting this defense from where it's at to where it wants to be. You know, you look at the Roquan Smiths of the world, what he did for this squad, and it feels like there's a lot of responsibility for the linebackers also, and journeyman veterans might just be the stopgap.
Yeah, I mean, I'm interested in which potential college players, like college linebackers, are going to be in the draft this year. Because I want to keep my eye out on a few. Because, yeah, I mean, really, when you think about our defense, I think Jenkins has played pretty well. I think Julian Love has played pretty well. I think Reek's solid, obviously. Trey Brown, I don't know how much longer he has on his contract. Witherspoon's obviously a lock. If we get that one linebacker, man,
Well, I saw the guy they need to get. I don't know if it's going to be realistic. I don't know what his draft prospects are. But watching the Georgia Texas game last night, number 11 on Georgia's defense is a savage. I mean, this guy looks like Bobby Wagner playing traditional linebacker, and then looks like Khalil Mack coming off the edge as an edge rusher. So he might go too high for us to pick. I haven't really dug into that too much, but it's just fun, man. The NFL season is always fun. College football is obviously, the second rated sport in this country by a mile. But I'm pumped, y'all. I see we got a bunch of the Seahawks fans in tonight. Maybe Texas Power is licking his wounds from that last second loss at Green Bay. But the Seahawks are 4-3 and in first place in the NFC West, man. Not a sexy record, but all that matters is if you're in first.
I mean, one of the best plays in the history of the NFL happened because a 7-9 team squeaked their way into the playoffs. So
Hmm.
all you got to do is be at the top of the division when January comes around. That's all that
Yeah, no
matters.
doubt. No doubt.
It's definitely not going to be the same. The 49ers team we're seeing right now is not going to be the 49ers team we're seeing later in the season when everybody gets healthy. So us Seahawks fans just need to soak it in while we can because
Mhm.
those guys are going to be right back on track.
Oh yeah, and I mean they just embarrassed us a week ago, so it's not like we can totally brush it off. We're only one game ahead of them. They embarrassed us in Seattle, so we shouldn't be, like you said. You can't get too high on your horse. This is the NFL though. Only dudes with no self awareness are gonna get way too high on themselves on a 4-3 record. It is kind of crazy though. I've never seen such a polarizing player as Geno Smith though. I I guess people are just going to be that way. Fans are fanatics. But man, it's like everyone's got to have a hardcore opinion on Geno, man, and I think he's played well. I honestly don't know if he's good enough. If you hold a gun to my head, I don't think he's really good enough to get you to the Super Bowl. But everyone's acting like this team has to make the Super Bowl this year. And if you told me, Ty, do you really think this is a Super Bowl roster? I would have to say no. But this shit is extremely promising. We're really only a couple pieces away to having a chance to really try to take this thing far, like they did about 10 years ago or so.
Absolutely. I mean, our roster is littered with young talent, and like Gino doesn't cost that much. He gives us the flexibility to, go out and sign a few free agents and Gives us time to know to find our guy in the draft, hopefully.
Hmm.
Like you said, I don't think he's gonna win you a Super Bowl, but worse have.
Yeah. I mean, he could. It's just the bottom line is a quarterback of his skill level would have to have everything around him almost perfect. And that rarely happens in the NFL to get your roster that right and have the injury luck go your way that much in a season. I mean, we are literally on our fourth string right tackle. Our offense is functioning and we're on our fourth string right tackle. Say what you will about any of them. For any NFL team, that's an extreme task to try to even just be functional that far down the depth chart out there on that offensive tackle island.
Absolutely. Yeah, I mean, 50% of the starting caliber right tackles are not that good. So that's how hard it is to find good offensive linemen in the NFL. Like Tommy said, it's the hardest position to find, in his opinion. I can't argue with that. I mean, I would say quarterback probably is still. I don't know. But man, I don't know. It's it's hard to temper
Well,
your
here's the thing.
expectations sometimes though. You know what I mean? Like you want to
Oh
expect the
yeah.
most. You want to want for the most, but you have to be realistic like you're saying. Like we're not the 2000 Ravens, the 2002 Bucks. We're not a roster built perfectly for someone like Trent Dilfer or Brad Johnson to throw 10 touchdowns on their way to the Super Bowl, basically. So
Mhm.
and the NFL is different. It's like it's catered to the offense. So I think even as opposed to 10 years ago, it's more important to have a like above average offense than ever
Mhm.
because defenses can't just bully offenses anymore in my opinion. It's more you have to have a defense that is top to bottom technically sound to be able to completely bully
Mhm.
an offense in today's football.
I mean, really, the offenses are going to score. They're going to score. So, can you make a few big stops per game? Really, the eras of the dominant defense are probably over. Well, and I just look at the rule changes have made it really tough, and so we'll see though. I mean, scoring and passing is down for the first time in many years this year in the NFL. Sunday Evening Media has a great point. How do we stop the run though? Cuz it's killing us, man. And if New England had a better quarterback in than Jacoby Brissett, they should have beat us at New England earlier this year cuz they ran all over us. They just had a quarterback that couldn't throw for over 120 yards and that makes it really tough in today's league.
Man, yeah, it's a guessing game half the time. When
Mhm.
especially when you're facing a team with two starting caliber running backs and like you said, somebody who can throw for 300 yards at, a pretty regular pace. So,
Mhm.
I mean, it is hard to game plan for, but you're also in the NFL and it's your job to game plan for that shit. So, we need to
Mhm.
figure that shit out. Like you said, like McDonald's defensive guru is what they labeled him. Like we've seen flashes of it, of what this defense can be, but we need to see that consistency and I think that just comes with what we've been saying.
Mhm. That this is why I think a true badass NFL linebacker would be the game changer for this defense is because Sunday evening we know that they want to play the The two deep safety. It's so in vogue today. All styles come back in. Bell bottoms and baggy jeans for ladies are coming back in style. The two deep safety is coming back in style. And it obviously is harder to stop the run if you don't have one of your safeties down lurking around the box. That's why having Earl Thomas, you've mentioned this before, off mic, Indy. Earl Thomas was critical for the Seahawks because his range out there in center field allows Cam Chancellor to sniff around down there with the linebackers. And I think that the Seahawks D is going to have to consider conceding what they don't want to and bring down some safeties into the box area. Now here's the thing, Indy, is with all the injuries at DB, I feel they have to I bet they felt they had to protect themselves against the big play, the run offense, the run yardage are going to give up, be damned. Sometimes you got to make sacrifices in this league, and hopefully, I think that they should play a much more aggressive mentality once we get our cornerbacks healthy again.
There for me for a second. Technical difficulties. But yeah, like you said, you have to make sacrifices. You got to adjust and game plan according to the guys you're going to have on the field on your side and their side. So, yeah, we need that true center of the field roaming just general like Bobby Wagner was back in his heyday
hmm hmm
with that 92 Madden speed or whatever it was. We need somebody like that.
Oh man.
Just a pure athlete that's not afraid to put his nose down and blow up a gap.
hmm Well, here's the thing, dude. Like in today's NFL, since they've gone to smaller linebackers compared to years past, there is mostly either a coverage guy or a run stuffer, and then there is the few guys that can do both. Bobby Wagner is going to the Hall of Fame because at once in his career he was a speed guy and he was a run stuffer. But if we can try to find one of those guys, he's not a household name, but Quay Walker for Green Bay is an absolute Georgia freak show. Our boy RG might have a little something to say about the dudes from Georgia because one of their D tackles has been kind of underwhelming. But I'm here to say we need that kind of linebacker. One of those freak shows that's big enough to stuff the run, but also fast enough to roam in coverage. And it's not easy to find. You're going to have to spend a high pick on that guy. Or maybe not. I'm talking out of both sides of my mouth though, because Fred Warner was third rounder, Wagner was second rounder, but we got to find that dude.
Yes, we do. Yes, we do. And it feels like we've missed out on a few guys that were available for us, and we chose running backs or wide receiver, offensive lineman, in the second or third round a few years in a row where I saw a bunch of Hawks fans clamoring for a linebacker. But yeah, like there's plenty of guys that aren't found in the first round that are studs, especially in the linebacker position. I mean,
Mm,
we play one twice a year. Fred Warner,
yeah, no doubt, no
man,
doubt.
he's one of those freaks, in my opinion. He's well on his way to a great career, potentially Hall of Fame, if he stays on the pace he's on, in my opinion. That guy is incredible. I want somebody like him on our team. That would set us off.
It's coming. It's coming. I There is actually one dude we might have to see if he makes it back from his Achilles injury, but I wouldn't mind bringing Dre Greenlaw. I know he's a free agent this offseason. If San Francisco can't afford him, I would love to bring in Dre Greenlaw.
That would be sneaky, but I would love it. You think he would hop over to the rival?
Dude, money talks, shit walks, dude. It's that simple. And these guys have a very finite amount of time to get as much as they possibly can. And linebacker is an extremely physical position where, a bad shoulder break or something of that nature can really screw it all up. I mean, hell, Dre Greenlaw should know as much as anyone. He was jumping on the sideline and tore his Achilles in the Super Bowl. You can have traumatic injuries at any moment, so you got to get yours while the getting's good.
It's a very good point. It's a very good point.
So,
Mariners lifers
I
said
mean,
we
that's
played
that's
too
my
much zone.
yeah. I'm with them. Why? I mean, what? Why do you want to put? I get okay. Today, I truly get it because we are down so many cornerbacks. You're really trying to protect yourself. So I get it today, but the track record shows that we really seem to want to play it safe. And I guess I should have known just judging by his blitzing stats. But I was really hoping we'd have an aggressive defense after all these years of Pete Carroll, bend but don't break. I mean, granted, Pete had one of the great defensive runs of NFL history in 4 or 5 years with the LOB, but the bend and break gets a little bit annoying, a little bit too much zone. And Indy, I know all of the media's like Mike McDonald in his fire zones and you simulated pressures. Dude, these offensive lines are picking it all up every time right now. And then we just have a D tackle dropping back into space, not knowing what the hell he's doing. These guys are flying by him like a hummingbird, because these are like 320 pounders and they got dudes running 4.3s trying to keep up with them cats. And we might need to mix it up a little bit, but hey, I got so much faith in Mike McDonald. I got so much faith in Ryan Grubb. And I just want to give a huge shout out to LaVisca Chenault. I like I like big hits, man, and big hits on special teams, especially. D. Williams got a fantastic return. LaVisca Chenault just jacks this dude up, blocking for his main man on the kick return, and then he also made a big hit coming down in kick coverage. LaVisca Chenault scored a touchdown last week. Sneaky big pickup. I love these kinds of dudes.
I heard both of those hits all the way up in 216.
I bet, bro.
Those are some those are some licks right there. Yeah, yeah, I would love to see the defense be more aggressive like you were saying. And it does feel like these simulated pressures aren't simulating much pressure. But today, shit worked. So it's 1 week at a time. Let these guys figure it out. We'll sit here and talk our shit. We'll get mad. We'll, spill our beers when we yell at the TV. But these guys are getting paid millions of dollars and they're out there doing the damn thing. So just
Let's
being
do
there
it.
today, just seeing the way that some of those young guys responded to getting beat and stepping up in key moments, shutting down some runs on third down and wrapping up when it mattered. It was good. It felt like you watched some different stages of growth over the period of the game in certain players, like Job and
Yeah.
Pritchett and man Jarrell. There's just a lot. I will say, JSN should have put two hands up for that ball,
I was wondering the same thing. I,
dude.
I literally yelled at my TV that.
It's moments like that. Like obviously, it didn't cost us the game. We're fine, but we're not always going to get bailed out by the refs on some weird calls here and there. Like, because some
Mhm.
of those looked a little weird in person. It's just, I miss the days where you just put two hands on the ball and secured it.
Mhm. I'm gonna give him a little bit of credit there because on the slow mo instant replay, which is one of the great factors of watching at home. Honestly, to me nowadays, if you go to the game, you're really going for the atmosphere because you see so much at home nowadays. These camera angles and the high definition are fucking incredible. I can't even imagine going back to our square TV days when I was a little kid and we had channels 4 through 13. That shit makes me crack up when I really think about how could we have watched sports like barbaric cavemen in that time period, bro. So this shit's awesome. But I just want to say another shout out. You were saying some young guys stepping up, and we need to see how this unfolds. But there's something to be said. So Rayshawn Jenkins is a big hitter. But is he fast enough, Indy, to get to enough plays to make the big hits worth it? Or is he too slow and can't get the angles, and which may have caused so many big runs lately? The reason I'm saying that is Kobe Bryant had a big day. I've always wished he played more. He had a hell of a rookie year and then has kind of been MIA the last couple years. I don't think it's his fault because you can't make plays when you're not on the field. But Kobe Bryant stepping up, bro, and he clearly jumped Taekwon Wallace in the depth chart because I was honestly curious when I heard they put Rayshawn Jenkins, the safety, on the IR. So I was wondering if it would be Wallace or it would be Kobe. And Kobe Bryant, not only with the pick, I think he provides way more speed out there.
Oh, he played his tail off, man. He was all over the field. I know those guys were sick of me screaming his name every time he made a play, for sure. Yeah, like I feel confident in him, and like you said, it felt like he just disappeared. But I know he was dealing with a few injuries, like to begin his second year, which kind of buried
Okay.
him a little bit, and then he made the switch to safety as well, which kind of probably
Oh, good
slowed
point.
his
Good point.
development down a little bit. But yeah, dude, he played his butt off, and you you love to see him get his opportunity and shine in it because I mean he was I don't even know how many tackles he had, but it felt like 6, 7 at least. He was all over the field. Uh,
Okay, man. I want. Oh, go ahead. Go ahead.
no, I was just gonna say in regards to Jenkins, I'm not sure if he's too slow or if he's just not being put in the right positions to maximize his skill sets. I think he's like a downhill, I'm gonna hit you in your face type of guy. I don't think he's got the like side to side edge contain ability that Kobe does because Kobe was getting out there and he was getting out there pretty damn quick. And
Hmm.
he was still putting on some big hits, I'm not gonna lie. Like he's not a tiny dude.
Hmm.
Like I don't know. I don't think that Jenkins is too slow. I just don't think that he's like a true two deep safety.
Well, if we want to play two deep safety, then put Kobe in because he's better at that.
Mm-hmm. And then you have a faster outside linebacker type player with Jenkins that you can. I mean, I feel like he could use Jenkins in a similar way to the way that they use Jamal Adams,
Yeah,
but I think he'd be
I'll
more
I'll be
effective.
third and long.
Yeah, I think he could be more effective than Adams because he's better in coverage, in my opinion.
Hmm. Hmm.
And he probably has better hands because Jamal Adams infamously had stone hands. I don't think I've watched anybody drop more picks than him.
I'll just never forget that one that hit him right in the face mask.
Oh, the you could probably see the veins in my forehead popping out when I was yelling at the TV.
I can't get too mad at him though. We saw Drake London have that exact same thing happen to him today, and he's a premier receiver, so it does happen. But it's a funny low light when it does, man.
Oh, it happened to what's his name? Tyrann Mathieu on Thursday. Hit him right
Okay,
in the
there you go.
chest, man. I think the Saints dropped 2 interceptions on that drive, and
Ugh.
and the Broncos went on to score. Brutal, brutal. But I feel like that was the Jamal Adams experience for the most part, aside
Fair
from his
enough,
first
man.
year,
Fair enough.
because those that sack record as a DB was pretty awesome.
Oh yeah, I mean, the dude's a hell of a player. He just couldn't stay on the field. And unfortunately, that's part of football. It looks like our right tackle might only get 1 year of playing in the NFL because his body just won't allow him. It's nothing that he's doing, but some guys, dude, their bodies just don't hold up in this league. It's rigorous to say the very least. So sometimes that shit just happens.
Absolutely. Okay, I have a question for you. If you're JSN on that double pass, do you throw that ball or do you just tuck it and run? Because he threw that thing into double coverage. It looked real
Well,
sketchy from my point of view. I didn't see the TV angle.
they were all over it. They were all over it. So the only play he could make would be to throw it out of bounds or throw up a jump ball. And he chose to throw up a jump ball because that was a beautiful job by the Falcons not falling for that trick play because they had two guys deep on DK and they also had the flow crashing in. Like if he kept it and run, he was gonna lose a few yards guaranteed. And so I'm fine with it. I mean, do I kind of wish he would have thrown it out of bounds? But at the same time, trust your guy, man. DK Metcalf is an absolute freak show. He went up and got it, and that's all that really matters. I just would I just want to see a little more JSN in the offense, though. And maybe it's just not going to necessarily happen right now, here or whatever. But I feel like he's got a lot more in him than what we've been getting from him. But you can only do so much with like three catches a game. So I don't know if I could put him on him as much as the offense.
He is in top 10 in the league in targets, I believe.
Really?
It's I believe so.
Well, okay.
Don't quote me on that, but it is high. He's top 10 or 15 because we
Okay,
do
here's the
have
thing.
the most
Yes.
throws in the league. So
Yeah.
it's a grain of salt moment, but I will say he is getting opportunities, but you got to use two hands in those opportunities.
So you're down in Atlanta. I take it you didn't get to see a ton of the action around the league today.
No, I didn't. I didn't get to see a lot of it.
Okay, okay. Well, the one thing, okay, for starters, we got to do this for RG though, man. Did you watch any of the off-season Hard Knocks with the New York Giants?
Oh, absolutely. They were warned not to let Saquon walk. I think one of their kids told him not to let him go or something like that.
Dude, they didn't even offer him. They didn't even offer him. Philly goes to MetLife Stadium. Philly goes to MetLife Stadium. They win 28-3, I believe. And Saquon went for nearly 170 rushing yards.
Sheesh. That is a statement if I've ever heard one. Man, I know that GM is here getting an earful from his son right now.
Oh, I could give a shit about his son. I'd be worried about the boss, the owner.
That's true, but he don't live with the owner.
No, he's not gonna. I don't. He's not gonna make it to see next year. I would highly doubt. But here's the thing about that. So we see him, and he's talking to Saquon, and he's like, "Go test the market." Blah blah. Like he thinks he's being John Schneider, but he missed the key part. John Schneider always makes an offer. The difference is when Schneider does this, he's like, "This is our offer. If you go to the market, find something you like more, congratulations. But call us, if because we want to match or at least have the opportunity, test the market. We're still here." But he forgot to make the offer. So this dude's trying to be John Schneider out here. He ain't getting it done. And so that was probably the funniest moment of today. You were talking about injuries, and I guess you're talking about the man who loves massage therapy a little bit too much.
Yep, he is definitely one of the ones I was talking about. I'm not sure the severity of it, but I know it was non-contact and they're saying Achilles. I don't wish
Hmm.
injuries on anybody, regardless of what they're accused of. I mean, it's tough to see. I don't. We've seen so many non-contact injuries over the last 7 or 8 years that it's like it's hard to keep track of them at this point.
Well, these guys are pushing it to the limit, so
Yeah, I saw Jaden Daniels hurt his ribs or something like that as well. Hope that
Hmm.
that dude's okay because he's so fun to watch.
He is.
He is
He's
so
great
fun to
for the
watch.
league.
Yeah. And actually, have you heard anything about the VR that he uses for training?
Yeah, speak on it. That's awesome.
I mean, as far as I know, he's the only quarterback in the NFL using it. I'm not 100% certain on that. I know he started using it his Heisman Trophy winning year at LSU. Before that, I mean, he was good in college, but he was not, Heisman level good. He started using this German VR NFL training equipment. I don't know a ton about it, but he credits it for giving him, hundreds to thousands of more reps per year than the other quarterbacks that take no wear and
Hmm.
tear on his body, which I think is the future of the sport. And
It absolutely is.
and we're getting to witness the beginning of it. And I think it is proving that it pays dividends. I mean, he's having one of the best starts to a career for a rookie quarterback ever.
Hmm. Hmm. Well, what's so great for him is he gets to try to read these defenses pre-snap, and we know how much studying goes into the game of football, especially at quarterback, especially in the NFL. And so I just think it's so cool. What a wonderful use of technology. And your biggest point, Indy, is this is the future. Any college program that can afford this, every NFL team is going to acquire this, and it's going to be part of their daily study habits, man, as an NFL quarterback and an NFL player. I don't know how much it would really help to play cornerback. It's such an athletic, reactive sport. But quarterback, oh my goodness. I mean, instead of just trying to imagine in his head, maybe he goes home with his girlfriend and he's just calling out, like, 35's the mic, blah, 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 line, shift, receive. Okay, we're good. He is literally getting to see this. And if anyone's ever put out a VR set, it is unbelievable where this technology has come. I never thought we would get to this point, and this is just like with the stuff that's $200 made to the public. I guarantee you, this German VR apparatus that Jaden Daniels is using is not the $200 Oculus that we've all tried.
Far more advanced. I'm I'm certain of it. I actually have a friend who lives in Germany and he's an investor, and he said that he wishes so bad he could invest in that company, but it's not public. So
Mm.
he's waiting for it to go public. So it's a big thing in Germany right now. It's a big company. They're making waves over there.
Ooh. Ooh, you tipped me off, bro. You tipped me off. Sunday evening media says give it to Gino, please. I think it would be a great tool for Gino because when he knows what he wants to do and has the time to deliver, he is awesome. Now, it's a lot of the other parts of playing quarterback that keeps him from reaching the elite status. I think it's too late in his career to reach that VR, not whatever. But I'm with you, Sunday evening media. I think that could be a major difference maker for all quarterbacks for that matter. But man, crazy times. Crazy times, man. Is there anything else on the NFL level you want to dig into really quick? No, okay. It's been fun, man. It's Chiefs undefeated still, doing it with defense and a little bit of Patty Mahomes. They're starting to give me they're starting to give me like a '90s Cowboys type of feel right now, where they might have a great quarterback, but they don't really need to use him that often. Okay, Indy, I gotta look right now. As we stand in Game 6, the LA Dodgers are leading 2-1 on the New York Mets. the Bronx Bombers, the New York Yankees are already in the World Series. So, Andy, that means the top three payrolls in Major League Baseball all made the league championship series. Three of the top four teams were top 10 in on base percentage. So, to me, it's clear. The teams that can get on base right now are the ones winning baseball games. The Mariners hit like 224 with about a 312 on base percentage, which is purely pathetic. I just want to give a huge shout out, man. So, do you remember Giancarlo Stanton? He has been a public enemy of Yankees fans. He is underwhelmed a little bit, but he's absolutely been the hero of the playoffs for New York. In the ALCS alone, Giancarlo Stanton with 4 home runs, 7 RBI. My boy Juan Soto with the back-breaking 3-run bomb to close the door on the Indians in the 10th inning. And then the craziest shit to me, bro, is Clase, the Indians closer, has been unbelievable. He had an ERA of point 0.8 some point 0.8 something, 5 earned runs in 74 plus innings of work, only 5 earned runs all season. He has given up 8 earned runs in 8 innings pitched in the postseason, including 4 critical runs in the ALCS. Clase with 5 earned runs all regular season, 8 in the short postseason. But I'm glad, Indy, because there's the big boys are playing because the Mariners ownership doesn't need any more fuel for them to be cheap. I'm happy to see some big dogs are in.
Oh, I that Class A stat has me just. I would have never guessed that. That is insane to me. Wow.
Oh, it is. Yeah.
Wow. I know Guardians fans are real confused about that one. Let down for sure. That has to hurt. That has to hurt. But yeah, I mean, hopefully seeing that, like you said, the three top payrolls are in the championship series pushes management to spend a little more, maybe, or ownership, I should say, not management, ownership to spend a little
Mhm.
more because, I mean, spending on on talent pays off sometimes. I feel like more often than not. So as long as you're not trying to go after constant retreads and aging superstars, I feel like it typically works out. But yeah, yeah, it's gonna be it's gonna be an awesome production, no matter which team advances to face the Yankees. The World
Mhm.
Series is gonna be a hell of a production, and I'm looking forward to it.
Well, it's either going to be the Subway Series or the old school Subway Series. Because y'all know what time it is. The LA Dodgers at one point were the Brooklyn Dodgers, so might hop in the time machine, so to speak. But all I can think about Indy is when I think about the Subway Series, I think about Piazza breaking his bat and Roger Clemens grabs the freaking broken piece and throws it at Piazza as he's running down the line. Oh boy, you want to talk about some roid rage? I don't know what else is, man.
That's facts. That is one of those crazy highlights that you just can't believe are real almost. Yeah. Dude, yeah, I'm looking forward to either matchup. I think we'll be spoiled as baseball fans regardless.
Yeah, I just want to see the stars at this point, and these teams sure deliver. It's absolutely wild. It pisses me off though to see Juan Soto playing so well. I just always felt like he should be a Seattle Mariner for 1 year. All I wanted was 1 year, but I don't even get that from. That's what I'm saying. And a whole lot of production equals a whole lot of money in your pocket, Mister Stanton.
Man, Mr. Stanton, take notes. Ty's got all of it for you right here.
Yeah, yeah. The problem is he don't want to hear it.
Nah, he don't want to hear shit. All he wants to hear is cha-ching, 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 cha-ching.
Whew. I imagine there might be a lot of mouths to feed though in that ownership group as well. It's a tricky situation. Yeah. Well, it's going to be really interesting, Indy, to see what happens a couple of years from now because the baseball's economic situation as a whole, as a league, is a mess. It's an absolute mess. I would almost guarantee you there's going to be a lockout and we are going to see some big changes in baseball. And I honestly think that finally the players might cave and give the owners a salary cap. It'll be interesting. I don't even want to go too much into it right now before I get more information on the situation, but there's many more owners in the middle class to the ghetto in terms of payroll budget in Major League Baseball on a vote opposed to the ones that would be for unlimited spending. I could see maybe there being a lockout and finally settling on a salary floor and a salary cap for Major League Baseball, and that would just change things completely.
Big time. That would absolutely level the playing field. I mean,
Hey, we know Mariners ownership would vote for a salary cap. I guarantee it.
it
And
makes it a more even playing field for the mid to low market teams.
if we're 18th in spending right now, that means we can guarantee 12 more teams would vote yes. So we're only 3 teams away from half the league. It's probably got to be a majority vote for something like that, but who knows exactly? And I mean, if I the reason I think that there might be a cap and a floor coming up in a couple years is in the negotiations, the richer ownership groups, like for the New Yorks, the LAs, etc. Well, then they'll demand the salary floor. Like, hey, we're subsidizing the Oakland A's out here. You guys got to spend more money instead of putting the revenue sharing in your pocket because that's bullshit, also. If I'm the New York Yankees, I will be livid that Steve Fisher gets to pocket his revenue sharing dough instead of putting it back on the field. So it'll be interesting to see how this all unfolds. We are going to dive deep into the hot stove once baseball is over. We just, without RG tonight and with Indy down there in the ATL, hot Atlanta, outcast the ATLians, all of that shit. Out at Mercedes Benz, repping our Seahawks to the fullest, baby. I love it, dude. I love it.
Yes, sir. It was a great time. And obviously, it's always better when I get to see the boys win.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. Well, man, any final thoughts you want to throw on this thing?
Um, I mean, I'm with you. I'm praying for a salary cap in baseball. Uh, Seahawks fans, keep your shit together. It, there's gonna be growing pains. It's a new season, new coaches, a whole lot of new. It's gonna be a ride, but I feel like, you know, I feel like we're built for success, and it's only gonna get better from here.
Damn right. Hey, we're in first place. We're in first place. Yeah, fuck them, man.
Yep, absolutely.
I'm just bringing this up really quick. Oh boy. Well, I'm really glad we got this win because the Buffalo Bills are coming to Seattle next Sunday. Holy smokes! Woo wee! Is Amari Cooper the happiest player in the NFL right now? It was. It was. He's 2 years younger. He's 2 years younger and $11 million cheaper. They absolutely made the better deal.
And a lot less of a I don't know. He doesn't voice his complaints to the media as much as at least. You know what I'm saying? He doesn't
Uh huh.
give that diva vibe off at all. like some of these guys do.
Mhm. Well, you know, Green Bay obviously isn't a sexy market to play in. They don't have the clubs or the nightlife that some of these dudes would like. But sometimes you don't know how good your situation is until you're out of it. And Aaron Rodgers and Devontae Adams wanted out of Green Bay, and they found out pretty quickly that that is a top flight organization who is consistent as it gets. They're always consistently winning. All the naysayers want to talk this shit. Yeah, they only had two Super Bowls in the last 30 years with Favre and Rodgers. How many teams in the league actually have multiple championships in that time frame? Winning Super Bowls are extremely difficult. If your team's consistent, that's all you can really ask for.
Yep, big facts.
Oh man. Oh man. I'm just seeing Ken Walker here. I just love watching that dude play. He sometimes frustrates the hell out of me. Sometimes I'm like, stop dancing, get up in there, bro. But man, he is just so exciting to watch play football.
Absolutely, dude. That catch and the throw, that whole play was
Oh,
immaculate. Step up, evading the pressure, and getting that throw off where he was, like he was wedged in between those players. Dude, that was a crazy, crazy play, and I'm glad it would happen right in front of me. I'm glad I got to see it happen live, for sure.
oh, that was in the end zone in front of you.
hmm
Dope.
The DK
That was
touchdown was opposite.
fantastic.
Yeah, it
Okay,
was.
okay.
It was. It was fantastic, man. It was wonderful.
Oh, that's awesome.
It was wonderful.
You just mentioned one more thing I'm gonna hit on, man. Is you just mentioned it right there. Geno Smith has improved his pocket awareness so much in the last few years. It's his improvement navigating the pocket is extremely impressive, and he doesn't get enough credit for it from most fans. And I don't know what these people are watching, and I got to be real about it. There's a lot of people spouting off on social media that have probably had way too many adult beverages for that time of the day. And that might be a decent reason why we see so many outlandish takes out there.
Oh, for sure. Would not doubt that at all. It's definitely caused a few outlandish takes from myself. It might have last weekend or on Thursday.
Fair enough, baby. Fair enough.
It's always a good time hopping on here with you, even though it's usually in circumstances that we don't like RG not being able to make it. But I always enjoy it.
No doubt, bro. No doubt. Well, y'all know what time it is. That's our super producer, Indy. He is kicking it from the ATL, like we said a few times, repping our Seahawks down there in the dirty, dirty. Absolutely love it, bro. Vaden Podcast Services. Check that. Vaden Podcast Services. Indy and his wonderful fiance Darby making this show come to life. Faden Podcast Services. Want to give a shout out to all the homies in the chat line. Maybe we'll get it a little bit more fiery next time because we got to get our Seahawks hater up on this shit. Y'all know my wonderful wife Katie helping us out on the socials. But RG, my main man, the notorious RG, we miss you, brother. We are doing our best to keep this train from falling off the tracks without you. We miss you big time, bro. But y'all know this is my oh my. It's another sports podcast. Tide Talks. Get at us, people.